Just 2 nights ago, a terrifying incident unfolded, leaving me filled with fear and unease. As someone who showcases a lavish lifestyle on social media, I often receive random Snapchat friend requests from strangers who find my account through my Instagram bio. It was on one rainy evening when I was relaxing with a friend that 2 unfamiliar girls added me on Snapchat. Their names were Casey Welsh and Bree Owens. Curiosity got the best of me and I added them back, although I found it odd that their Snap scores were relatively low. Soon after, Casey sent me a message, a black screen with the caption, "You're cute." It seemed like someone was playing a prank, so I brushed it off and decided to see if they would reach out again. I couldn't help but notice that both girls had shared their locations on the Snap map, and to my surprise, they appeared to be together in a car not far from my location. Growing concerned about the worsening weather and the late hour, I realized it was time for me to head home. I climbed into my car and joined the highway, driving cautiously due to the heavy rain. There were only a few, if any, cars on the road at that time. Eventually, another vehicle caught up behind me and stayed there for a while. When I exited the highway at my town's exit, the car followed suit. Feeling a sense of unease, I turned onto the street that led to my house, and the car continued to trail behind me. The situation became increasingly suspicious. I pulled into my driveway, turned off the car, and watched as the car behind me slowed down upon passing my house. It then came to a complete stop. Panic surged through me, and I instinctively reached for my phone, opening Snapchat and checking the map. The map confirmed my worst fears. The 2 girls were shown right on top of my house. Overwhelmed by fear, I hastily closed my phone, my heart pounding in my chest. I desperately needed help. Thankfully, my dad was at home, so I called the house phone. He answered immediately, and I pleaded with him to come outside. Meanwhile, the car in the street began reversing, edging closer to our driveway. Just as the front door opened and my dad stepped outside, the car drove off. Relieved, I ran through the rain toward the safety of our house. My dad embraced me, asking about the men in the car. Confused, I inquired how he knew about them and how many there were. He recounted seeing at least 3 large men in the vehicle, staring at him as they drove away. That night, I awoke to unsettling noises outside my window, rustling leaves, the sound of garbage cans being moved, and the presence of people. I felt their eyes upon me, but fear paralyzed me from looking outside. Suddenly, a chilling voice reached my ears, uttering the horrifying words, "I know you're up, don't move a muscle." It sounded like my dad's voice, but something was terribly wrong. He seemed to be hiding behind my bed, warning me of the imminent danger lurking outside. I heard footsteps receding, and eventually my dad confirmed that it was safe. Now, both my dad and I are filled with horror, dreading the idea of falling asleep. He's prepared to contact the police at the slightest sign of any suspicious activity outside our home. If anything transpires, I will provide an update. The fear from that night lingers, a constant reminder of the darkness that can infiltrate our lives when we least expect it. It was a typical Friday evening, and my best friend Mark and I were engrossed in our Snapchat conversations. We shared hilarious memes, funny videos, and kept each other updated on our lives. However, on this particular night, something strange occurred that would shatter our sense of security. As we chatted back and forth, I noticed a series of snaps from Mark, but he wasn't responding to any of my messages. Perplexed, I sent him a text, asking if everything was all right. Minutes turned into hours, but there was no reply. I couldn't shake off the growing sense of unease that gnawed at me. Concerned for Mark's well-being, I reached out to our mutual friends to see if they had heard from him. To my surprise, they confirmed that Mark had lost his phone earlier that day. Confusion washed over me, as it became clear that someone else was opening and viewing the snaps I had received, masquerading as Mark. With a sense of foreboding, I confronted the imposter directly, sending a snap asking who they were and why they were using Mark's account. Seconds ticked by agonizingly before I received a response. It was a photo of a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, accompanied by a chilling message. "I am the one who watches. I see everything." My heart raced as fear gripped me. Who was this imposter and why were they toying with me? I felt like a pawn in a macabre game, my every move scrutinized by a sinister presence. The snaps continued, each one more unsettling than the last. They showcased glimpses of my daily life, captured from eerie angles, as if the imposter was watching me from the shadows. The captions grew more threatening, filled with cryptic warnings and taunts. Fear consumed me, and paranoia seeped into every aspect of my life. I constantly looked over my shoulder, sensing an unseen presence, wondering if I was being watched at every turn. Sleep became elusive as nightmares invaded my restless nights. Driven by a mix of fear and determination, I delved deeper into the mystery. I combed through Mark's previous snaps, searching for any clue that could unravel the imposter's identity. My investigation led me down a dark path, uncovering a web of hidden accounts, encrypted messages, and disturbing photographs. Every step I took was met with resistance, as if the imposter knew I was closing in. My online presence was infiltrated, my personal information scattered across the dark corners of the internet. The imposter's goal was clear: to manipulate and terrify me. In a final chilling snap, the imposter revealed their true intentions. It was a photo of me captured unbeknownst to me with the caption,
"You were just a pawn in my twisted game. Your fear sustains me."
Dread washed over me as I realized the extent of the imposter's power and malevolence. To this day, the true identity of the imposter remains a mystery. The harrowing experience has left scars on my psyche, forever altering my perception of online interactions. I now approach social media with caution, aware of the lurking shadows and the potential for darkness to seep through the digital realm. The sinister Snapchat intrusion serves as a haunting reminder that behind the screens, there are unseen forces that can manipulate, torment, and prey upon our vulnerabilities.